Let's start our year with a very big smile because our first webinar is all about oral health. Let us all together learn more with our expert this morning, the importance of oral health and hygiene. Today's webinar will run from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And to save on time for your questions, kindly use the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen and we will entertain any comments or questions you may have at the end of the lecture or during our open forum. Before we begin, may we acknowledge the presence of Attorney Joey. Is Attorney Joey present with us today? All right. I believe Sir Joey is not with us, but we may start. And without further ado, let us now proceed with our webinar entitled Mouth Matters, Oral Health and You. Our speaker for this session is Dr. Thea Peralta Estebar. She is an active member of the Philippine Pediatric Dental Society. She has trained on craniofacial biology, dentofacial orthopedic, and clinical orthodontics. She underwent postgraduate externship training program in the pediatric dentistry at the Philippine Children's Medical Center in 2010 and has a certificate in comprehensive restorative and aesthetic dentistry from the University of the Philippines College of Dentistry. Dr. Thea is an immediate past president of the Philippine Dental Association, Antipolo chapter, and now the regional coordinator for NCR North. A doctor of dental medicine, let us all welcome with a big smile our speaker for today, Dr. Thea Estebar. Good morning, Dr. Thea.
Good morning, Miss China, and thank you for that very kind introduction. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the Grupong Tamang Alaga for coming up with this webinar and starting this year with prioritizing oral health. So, tamang-tama kasi oral health is this coming February will be the Oral Health Month. So it's nice that you have come up with this webinar. Okay, may I share my screen here? Mouth Matters, Oral Health and You. I'd like to share first the objectives of this lecture to discuss the importance of good oral health, especially during the pandemic, to identify the most common oral health problems, to promote the prevention of oral health problems, and to explain common myths and facts on oral health. So una, ano ba yung oral health? Before we define before I give you a brief overview of what oral health is, ano muna yung oral cavity? Oral cavity, hindi lang po mga ngipin yan. Our oral cavity comprises of our teeth, the lips, the upper and lower lips, the tongue, the palate, and everything you see whenever you open your mouth. So oral health. Oral health is the state of the mouth, teeth, gums, and orofacial structures that enable us to smile, speak, and chew. And oral health is more than a beautiful smile. It means having healthy teeth, gums, lips, tongue, and everything else inside our mouth. So, siguro itong mga to kilala nyo. Sila, I think, na-realize na nila ang importance of oral health. Sigurado rin ako na most of you ay nagkaroon na rin ng problema sa inyong mga ngipin, sa inyong oral health, sa ngipin at different parts of the oral cavity. Sila rin gano'n, na-realize na nila yan. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo, yung before and after, gumanda na ang kanilang mga ngiti. Why is oral health important? Alam nyo ba na ang oral health is the window to our general health? Because the mouth is the entry point to your digestive and respiratory tracts. Yan ang unang pag kumain tayo, pag huminga pa kahit pag tayo ay hihinga, kasama rin ang ating oral cavity na nagko-function para doon. So, ang importance of oral health is for us to eat, drink, speak, smile, and also socialize. Ayan. Our oral health affects our self-confidence, well-being, and school performance and work performance, also attendance in our workplace, and the ability to socialize and work without pain, discomfort, and embarrassment. Siyempre, ayaw natin, pag alam nyo naman yun, na pag masakit ang ngipin, parang hindi na kayo makatrabaho, hindi kayo makakonsentrate, especially ang mga bata. Pag sila ay school age, tapos may masakit, yan ang most common reason for absenteeism. And hindi nila makukuha yung enough learning kasi distracted sila from the pain. And of course, discomfort. Meron iba, kahit ako, naka-experience na rin ako ng mga discomfort, like yung pangingilo. Katulad ng nasa picture na yan, yung discomfort ng pangingilo. And kilala nyo siguro to. Syempre, we don't want that to happen to us, yung embarrassment nga. Hindi lang sa ganyang hindi lang sa ganyang pagkakataon, sa iba pa. Ito ang mga common oral conditions: tooth decay, periodontal disease, tooth loss. Ang tooth loss po ay resulta ng tooth decay and periodontal disease. And also, oral cancer. Sa ating mga bibig, may mga bacteria po, oral bacteria, which causes dental decay and gum disease. Ito po ang data ng Philippines sa atin. Noong 2011, medyo mataas kasi nandun tayo sa 87.4% ng among the population ay may dental caries. Sabi ko nga among dito sa grupo na nanonood ngayon na nasa webinar na ito, sigurado ako most of us, kasama ako doon, have had dental caries and gum disease. Later on, I will be explaining ano ba yung gum disease, ano ba yung dental caries, and kung bakit nagkakaroon ng mga ganito. And etong bagong data, 2018, at least kahit papaano medyo bumaba. Buti na lang siguro because of webinars such as this, oral health promotions of the different groups. 72% still mataas pa rin po. 72% of our population ay may dental caries and 43% ay may gum disease. Ibig sabihin yung gum disease kalahati hindi nyo man alam pero maaaring isa kayo sa may mga gum disease. So let's discuss about tooth decay, yung mga nabubulok ng ngipin. Ang tooth decay is one of the most common chronic diseases throughout our lifespan. Ito, dental caries levels of 12-year-olds worldwide. Yung pula po, yan po yung pinaka maraming mataas na incidence of caries or tooth decay. Tayo po yung isa sa nakapula dyan at saka dito sa area na to. So medyo parang this is 2004. Medyo parang nakakahiya. Top 1 ba tayo? Nandun tayo sa top 3 na pinakamataas na caries rate. And among 35 to 44 years old, kasama pa rin syempre tayo. Nadagdagan ng mga pula kasi siguro yung mga sa ibang lugar, nung bata, naaalagaan ng mga ngipin ng mga bata noon sa ibang lugar, pero nung tumatanda sila, mas dumami. Sa atin, bata pa lang, hanggang sa matanda, medyo mataas yung percentage natin ng tooth decay, ng population na may tooth decay. Ano ba yung tooth decay? Paano ba nagkakaroon ng tooth decay? So, pag kumain tayo ng mga may sugar or yung mga starchy food, yung bacteria, kinakain nila yon, gusto nila yon. And then, pag nakakain na sila ng sugar or yung mga starch, they produce acid. So this acid, pag ang ngipin ay nabalutan ng acid, doon nagkakaroon ng tooth decay. Ito po yung stages ng tooth decay. Umpisa pa lang po, dapat nga, di ba, we should be more of prevention. Umpisa pa lang, dapat na a-address na para hindi lumalala. At later on, baka mawalan pa tayo ng ngipin. So, paano ba yung stage of tooth decay? Una, sa decay sa enamel pa lang. And then, lumalalim nang hindi natin namamalayan. Minsan kasi, para siyang anay na kala mo wala sa ibabaw pero mas malalim, mas marami na palang damage sa ilalim. So ganun po yung ngipin. Kasi mas malambot yung ngipin natin, yung enamel portion, yun po yung matigas na portion ng part ng ngipin. And yung sa ilalim po, medyo mas malambot. So mas madali siyang masira yung nasa ilalim. So hindi natin namamalayan minsan. Kala mo parang guhit pa lang or stain, yun pala malaki na yung sira sa ilalim. And pag lumalim na at umabot na dun sa nerve ng ngipin, doon na sasakit ang ating mga ngipin and maaari pa itong mag-cause ng infection. Paano nyo malalaman na you have tooth decay? The first sign of tooth decay is the white spot lesion. White spot lang. And this at this point, medyo reversible pa siya, or it with proper treatment and application of fluoride, pwedeng hindi siya mag-progress into a full-blown tooth decay. Pero once na nagkaroon na siya ng parang black or brown, ano na yan, nagsisimula na yan na lumaki, especially sa ilalim. And syempre, pag yung food gets stuck in between our teeth, minsan meron palang sira sa sides ng ngipin. And of course, sensitivity to hot and cold and sweets or yung mga maasim, ibig sabihin maaaring may cavity na tayo. Mahirap mag-chew and meron ng discomfort. And it also causes bad breath, yung tooth decay. Siyempre, na yung mga cavity na lalagyan ng mga debris, food debris na tumatagal yung debris doon, so nagkakaroon tayo ng bad breath. And pag lumala, magkakaroon ng infection. And alam nyo ba na itong infection na to, ay there are cases, reported cases na pwedeng dahil sa tooth decay, pwedeng magkaroon ng brain abscess. Kumalat yung infection, papunta sa brain. Kasi di ba ang oral cavity nandito sa ating ulo, malapit sa brain din yan. So untreated tooth decay can lead to abscess or severe infection like cellulitis under the gums, which can spread to other parts of the body and have serious and in rare cases fatal results. Yun nga, katulad nung bata na nagkaroon ng brain abscess due to secondary to caries. Ito yung sumunod, yung gum disease. Sumunod na common oral health conditions. Periodontal disease. Ano ba yung periodontal disease or gum disease? Na medyo dun sa survey, 50% of the population, almost 50% of the population ay meron. Probably without them knowing it, they have gum disease. Tayo, minsan, yun nga, katulad na sinabi ko kanina, hindi nyo maaari kasi most of the time, hindi siya masakit. Wala kang nararamdaman. Periodontal disease or gum disease is an inflammation of the gums that begins as gingivitis. It's a chronic gingivitis, yung chronic inflammation of the gums, and which can be easily treated if action is taken early. If left untreated, syempre magkakaroon ng gingivitis, yun yung first stage, and then can progress to periodontitis. Ayan. Pag may dumi, ang ngipin kasi, pag hindi proper yung brushing, hindi good yung oral hygiene, nasisiksikan at nadidikitan ng mga dumi. Normally yung mga dumi, matatanggal. May mga dumi like plaque na matatanggal natin with proper oral hygiene or toothbrushing. Pero pag accumulated na, that's why we have to go to the dentist at least every 6 months or 3 months yung para sa iba, para makuha or maalis ng dentist, malinisan ng dentist yung ngipin dahil may mga dumi na hindi natatanggal na nakadikit sa ngipin. At pag nakadikit siya for a long time, yung gums ayaw nang dumikit dun sa ngipin. And the gums gets irritated, yung bone na supporting our teeth na-irritate din. So bumababa o nawawala yung suporta. Kung baga sa isang poste, nawawala yung suporta ng poste hanggang sa pwede na siyang matumba. So yun nga, dahil nawawala ng support, it causes tooth mobility and eventually, pag hindi naagapan na, tooth loss. Ito yun naman yung stages of gum disease. Nagkakaroon ng gingivitis first. Yung pag gingivitis, medyo parang reddish yung gums and easily bleeds. Pag nag-progress, hindi tayo nakapagpalinis. Yun nga, humihiwalay na yung gums dun sa ngipin. And bumababa yung level ng support ng tooth, bone support, hanggang sa mawawala na, hanggang sa matatanggal na yung ngipin. So you may have experienced gum disease if there is red and swollen gums that bleed easily, especially when you brush or clean between your teeth. Gums that have pulled away, yun yung sinabi ko, parang nawawala na si gums, umaangat na. Katulad dito sa picture, nawawala na siya. Humihiwalay na siya doon sa ngipin. And etong gum disease, ito yung most common cause of bad breath din. Kasi namamaga yung gums, easily bleeds. So yung namumuong minsan konting dugo lang, pero syempre pag natuyot yung namuo yung dugo doon, kahit konti pa siya, merong foul odor na pinoproduce yun. Pag malala, pwedeng magkaroon ng pus or yung nana between ng gums and the teeth. Teeth are loose or moving away from one another, and changes in the way your teeth fit together when you bite. Ito sa picture, makikita nyo na umangat na, tapos umangat na yung gums, at saka parang mahuhulog na yung ngipin. Ang isa pang oral condition, most common oral condition, is oral cancer. Tama po, nagkakaroon din po ng oral cancer. And oral cancer is among the 10 most common cancers. Oral cancer can be life-threatening just like other cancers if not diagnosed and treated early on. Oral cancer is most prevalent among middle-aged men. Why? Because of the risk factors perhaps, and women and younger people are increasingly affected also. So yung risk factor niya, yung smoking and alcohol intake, excessive alcohol intake. Ito po data from the World Health Organization. Yung number of cases with cancer. Sabi dito, sa male po ay 2 among 100,000 sa population ay may oral cancer. And sa female ay may 1.3 among the 100,000 population ang may oral cancer. Ito, paano mo malalaman na may oral cancer? Merong swelling and thickening, lumps or bumps, rough spots, crust or eroded areas on the lips, gums, and other areas inside your mouth. So pag ganito, kailangan nakikita. Actually, pag yung nagpupunta kayo sa dentist, every 3 months or every 6 months, hindi lang po cleaning yung tinitignan doon. I mean, yung treatment. Para na rin po kayo nagpapascreen for oral cancer. Kasi chinecheck rin ng dentista ang inyong oral cavity. Tinitingnan kung merong hindi parang anomaly doon sa area, so sa oral cavity. Kaya po importante na nagpupunta sa dentist. And of course, there will be development of velvety white, red, or speckled patches in the mouth. Yung may mga kakaibang, basta pag may nakita kayong kakaibang itsura sa bibig nyo, sa loob, kailangan nyo po pa talagang pa-check. Meron minsan unexplained numbness or pain. And ayan, common to dramatic weight loss. Common to sa mga nagkakaroon ng cancer. Persistent sores. Alam nyo minsan yung mga singaw, mga singaw natin last about 10 to 14 days. Pero more than that, dapat ipa-check nyo na. Ang singaw nag-heal yan eh. Pero pag more than 14 days at hindi pa rin siya nag-heal, kailangan nyo na po siyang ipa-check. Ayan, may soreness or feeling that something is caught in the back of the throat and difficulty in chewing, swallowing, speaking, or moving the jaw or tongue. Minsan may hoarseness or chronic sore throat, ear pain, and change in the way your teeth or dentures fit together dahil baka maaaring may lump na. Ang oral diseases and other non-communicable diseases share common risk factors. Yung non-communicable diseases like yung cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, chronic respiratory diseases, and cancer. Ano ba yung mga risk factors? Ayan. Yung diet, high in sugar, tobacco, yung mga nagsasmoke, and excessive alcohol intake, at syempre, poor oral hygiene. Ito, data again from the World Health Organization ng country profile ng Philippines. Ang availability mataas ang availability natin. Pero alam nyo, meron naman batas ngayon na pinanukala na tungkol sa mga policies na para mabawasan yung pagbili rin ng mga sweets. Pati sa schools, may mga policies rin. Hindi ko lang alam minsan kasi hindi rin nasusunod. At saka very available, available sa ating grocery, ang dali-dali, ang dami-dami doon na halos lahat ng nasa grocery ay merong free sugar. So yung sa tobacco naman, 15 years of age, dito mataas ang male. Kaya doon sa kanina mas mataas yung percentage ng male na nagkakaroon ng oral cancer. And yung alcohol consumption din, 15 years old and above, mas mataas syempre pa rin yung sa male. So yung risk factor ng male mas mataas. Ayan. First risk factor, yung sugar. Dental decay is linked to the frequency of sugar consumption. Ito yung sugar. Ano ba yung sugar na masama? Yun yung free sugar. Anything na sugar or matamis na hinahalo sa ating pagkain. Yun po yung artificial na sugar. Yun yung free sugar. Lahat ng nabibili karamihan sa grocery na matamis ay hinahaluan po yun ng free sugar. Sa adults po, hanggang daily intake po to, dapat hindi po tayo tumaas ng 60 grams. Sa bata, dapat 30 grams lamang or katumbas ng 7.2 teaspoon. And ang sweets, hindi po dapat more than 4 times a day. Yung dapat, yung frequency, medyo mas bawasan. In fact, mas maganda nga lang siya. Halimbawa, kasama yung sweets na yung mga kung may free sugar man at mealtime para mataas yung salivary flow natin at nawawash out siya or nanuneutralize rin. Excessive consumption of sugar increases the probability of oral diseases, cardiovascular diseases, cancer, and diabetes. Ito yung sample ng free sugar. Yan yung mga beverages and yung mga cookies, biscuits, pati honey, and syempre yung table sugar natin. Magbibigay ako ng example kung ganong kataas. Kasi syempre we have to read the label. Kaya kayo, ugaliin nyo pong read the label. Ang energy drink natin, ang adult, 60 grams lang dapat ng sugar in a day. So yung sugar ng energy drink, 46 grams na. Katumbas na, imagine, 11 teaspoons of sugar yung nasa energy drink na yan. Paano pa, hindi lang naman yan nakakainin natin all throughout the day. So for sure, pag uminom tayo niyan, tapos meron pa tayong ibang kakainin, lalagpas na tayo dun sa 60 grams na hangganan natin. And yung soft drinks, minsan yung iba nakakadalawa pa, 2 cans na soft drinks. So meron siyang katumbas na 35 grams or 8.4 teaspoons of sugar. Imagine nyo yun, 8.4. Ang dami nun. Sobrang tamis. Yung sports drink, meron din siyang, kaya di ba para yung energy drink muna, di ba para magising tayo? Kasi mataas yung sugar niya. Apart from meron din siyang caffeine, pero syempre mataas yung sugar niya. So yung sports drinks, merong katumbas na 3 teaspoons of sugar, and even the fruit drink, mas mataas pa nga sa sports drink, 5.5 teaspoons of sugar. Ito yung mga binibigay natin sa mga anak natin. Yogurt drink, cultured milk, nakatumbas ng 3.4 teaspoons of sugar. Ilan nga ba ang mga pangbata na ang dapat na intake ng sugar ng bata? 7. So 3.4, imagine, uminom ang bata ng isang, let's say, cultured milk, tapos nag-biscuit siya. Tatlong, let's say, biscuit na cookies and cream na biscuits. Halimbawa, katumbas yung 3 piraso, katumbas din ng 3.5 teaspoon ng sugar. So, nakuha na ng bata yung dapat na sugar intake niya for a day. Ayan. Ang mataas po ay itong flavored drink. Nakita nyo, 5 teaspoons siya. So pag-isipan nyo ang ipapabaon nyo sa inyong mga anak nyo kung kailangan ba talaga na may mga, of course may benefits din yung mga yogurt drink, pero we have to limit. Kaya po, Philippine Dental Association, ang isa sa mga oral health promotion namin is sugar away, walang tooth decay or iwas tooth decay. And next risk factor is the tobacco. The leading cause of preventable death in the world. Kasi preventable naman talaga siya. Kaya lang kasi because marami ang nag-smoke, kaya nagiging high yung risk nila na magkaroon ng like yung cancer and other diseases. So increased risk of oral cancer, increased risk of gum disease, kasi nagkakaroon ng dry mouth, teeth staining, syempre nicotine, and bad breath. Alam nyo naman, iba yung hininga ng mga nagsisigarilyo. Kaya nga, di ba, after nila magsigarilyo, kailangan pa nila kumain ng mga chewing gums. And premature loss of teeth and loss of taste and smell. Alcohol consumption, ganun din, risk factor din siya for oral cancer and other systemic diseases. Increased risk for several cancers nga and teeth erosion and tooth decay kasi mataas ang kanyang acid and sugar content. Alcohol consumption, nagkakaroon din tayo ng teeth staining. Siyempre yung mga red wine, mataas mag-stain ng teeth yan. And premature loss of teeth, bad breath also, and loss of taste and smell. Almost the same lang din with the tobacco. Oral health is linked to a number of general health conditions. Like yung sa ating sa respiratory system natin, like diabetes and cardiovascular diseases. Sa oral cavity kasi natin, merong mga bacteria. May good and bad bacteria. So, yung mga good and bad bacteria, pumupunta yan sa ating katawan. Yung especially the bad bacteria, yun yung nagkakaroon tayo ng problem pag pumasok na sila sa system natin. So, yung gum disease, Kasi 'di ba may swelling, pag may gingivitis, may swelling or periodontal disease, may swelling of the gums and maraming bacteria doon, meron siyang ang gum disease ay may strong evidence linking it to heart disease. Bakit? Kasi oral bacteria can be absorbed into the bloodstream via the gums and travel to other parts of the body. This may contribute to tiny clots or inflammation in the blood vessels. Example, yung infective endocarditis. Ito yung inflammation ng lining nung sa heart natin. It may result when bacteria enter the bloodstream of a susceptible individual. So, nanggagaling sa bibig. Kaya yung mga, alam nyo, pag bago operahan ng mga bata, binibigyan namin ng clearance yan. Bata or matanda, pag merong operahan sa puso, hinihingan na kami ng clearance yan kasi kailangan walang sira ang ngipin. And another, oral health, there is a strong evidence of a two-way relationship between oral health and diabetes. And gum disease can lead to poor blood sugar control, and poorly controlled diabetes can increase the severity of gum disease. Pag may diabetes, yung iba, kasi nga compromised ang kanilang immune system, pwede magkaroon ng oral thrush, fungal infection yan, and dry mouth. And another, oral health linking to pneumonia. Periodontal disease pathogenic bacteria have the ability to gain entry into a patient's lungs by specific pathways, with the most common way via aspiration of the oropharyngeal secretions by way of endotracheal intubation or mechanical ventilation. Minsan, common to sa mga elderly, pag yung mga na-hospital sila, kasi na-aspirate pag madumi yung oral cavity natin. Pwedeng pathway nga yan ng papunta sa ating lungs and the digestive system. So yung mga bacteria, pwede rin pumasok doon through aspiration of oral secretions. Ayan. Ayan, yung mga oral secretions and plaque. Bacteria in the mouth multiply rapidly and often trickle down into the lungs, minsan during sleep. These germs or bacteria then cause pneumonia. And removing the biofilm or yung mga dumi sa ngipin with just regular brushing prevents this condition. Ngayon naman, so nakita na natin yung mga risk factors, common oral disease, how to maintain good oral health. Siyempre, we have to have good oral hygiene. Good oral hygiene, we brush at least 2 times a day, 2 minutes, with a fluoride, toothpaste with fluoride. And eat a well-balanced diet, low in free sugar, high in fruits, vegetables. And dapat, let's favor water na lang as the main drink. Mas maganda tubig ang inumin instead of other mga colored drinks. And dapat iwasan natin ang paninigarilyo. And alam ko na minsan yung iba nagkakaroon ng alcohol consumption. Okay lang yan in moderation basta wag sobra-sobra. You have to limit. Ito po ang gabay. 7 gabay sa tamang pagsisipilyo. Magsipilyo pagkagising sa umaga, morning and evening. Gumamit ng toothpaste with fluoride. Pag bata, 0 to 2 years old, 1,000 parts per million yung amount ng fluoride. I-check nyo po yung toothpaste ng mga bata kung merong fluoride dyan. Dapat po meron. And yun nga, pag 0 to 3 or up to hanggang 6, pwedeng 1,000 parts per million. Mga kiddie most of the kiddie toothpaste naman meron. Pero may iba, karamihan din wala eh. Meron din. So have to read the label. Pag sisipilyo, mas madali, paikot-ikot para hindi na nakakalito. And all of the surface of our teeth. For 2 minutes. For 2 minutes dapat. Ito, kung hindi ko alam kung nakikita nyo, medyo maliit yata. Kung gaanong karami ang toothpaste na nilalagay. Pag adult, tayo mga adult, kahit buong bristle. Pag kaming dentista, kahit buong toothbrush, kasi marami kaming free samples. Ayan. Pero yung mga baby, gabutil ng bigas. Smear lang. Pag baby na hindi pa marunong or bata na hindi pa marunong or hindi pa siya efficient mag-spit, gabutil lang ng bigas. Pero pag marunong na sila mag-spit, gamunggo. Alam nyo ba na hindi kailangan magmumog after? Sa umpisa, pwede magmumog, pero after pwede yung para ma-wash out lang yung mga food debris, no? Bago mag-brush, magmumog, pero after hindi na. Kasi we want the fluoride to be on the surface, to stay on the surface of the for some time on that of our teeth. So yon. And dapat ayun nga, sabi dito, hindi kailangan magmumog, spit lang. And sa mga bata, pagka sipilyo sa gabi, hindi na dapat kumain or mag bottle feed para hindi walang maiwang debris doon. 'Di ba tayo matatanda, pagkakain natin, bago tayo matulog, kailangan nag-brush. Pag kumain tayo, kailangan mag-brush ulit tayo bago matulog. Kasi nga, yung mga debris nandun food debris nandoon sa loob ng bibig, hindi natatanggal. Tapos mahina ang salivary flow. Nagpo-party-party ang ating mga bacteria sa loob ng bibig sa gabi pag hindi tayo nag-toothbrush. Ito lang po ang isa kong iiwan na tanong o problema ba sa ating bansa. Sabi, kailangan mag-toothbrush gamit ang toothpaste with fluoride. However, sa report ng WHO, nakalagay ang affordability of fluoride toothpaste sa Pilipinas, it's unaffordable. So, paano na ang toothbrushing with fluoride toothpaste? So, tinatawagan namin at kinausap ko na rin. Siyempre, may nakausap na rin ako sa ating government. The Philippine Dental Association may have something to do with this also. Baka makatulong. And we want help from other organizations as well. Gaya nyo rin po na para dapat siguro makausap rin yung manufacturers ng toothpaste. And ito naman, kaunting myths and facts lang before I end. Sabi, baby teeth lang yan, hayaan ng masira. Hindi po dapat ang baby teeth pinangangalagaan. Gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, most common cause of absenteeism sa school or distraction sa learning and yung proper nutrition pag may masakit ng ngipin yung bata. So wag nating hayaan na mabulok ang ngipin ng bata. Guide dyan ng permanent teeth among others. Guide ng para cute sila, maganda yung ngipin nila, cute sila. Pero yun nga, ayaw natin naman sila mag-suffer ng pain. Pangalawa, you should not have any dental treatment during pregnancy. Dapat nga po pag pregnant, dapat mas pumunta sa dentist. Nagkakaroon ng hormonal imbalance ang mga pregnant. So yung nagkakaroon sila ng gingivitis. So kailangan nilang magpalinis rin ng ngipin and kailangan nilang pumunta. And there are studies na pag hindi maganda yung oral hygiene or nagkaroon ng problema sa gums yung ang pregnant, ang mommy, ang bata low birth weight. So diet or sugar-free soda doesn't cause your teeth any harm. Dahil sugar-free ba? Dahil diet soda siya, hindi siya makaka-harm ng ngipin natin? Mali po yun. Kahit sugar-free po, pwede po dahil ang soda, ang soft drinks po ay puno po ng acid. So ang acid po ay nakakasira ng ngipin. Yun. And ang isang last ko na myth ay, you can only go for a dental checkup if you have a problem. Syempre hindi. Hindi pwedeng pag masakit lang, tsaka lang tayo pupunta. We want to prevent the disease, the oral health conditions, because they are preventable. So ayaw natin lumala. Kailangan pumunta, we'll have a regular checkup sa ating mga dentista. And ito, konting impact of pandemic on oral health. Noong nag-close sa mga clinic noon, walang mapuntahan, merong mga napabayaan ng oral health nila. So, merong iba na meron ako mga pasyente na nakakausap na nire-refer ko na sa ospital. No, ospital kasi talagang namamagana na, especially mga bata namamagana, kailangan na agarang lunas, kailangan na sila ma-ospital. So, simula noon, nag-focus na tayo dapat, simula nitong pandemic, dapat hindi na more of treatment eh. We should focus on prevention talaga. Kaya rin, yung WHO, nagkaroon sila ng assembly, they had a resolution on oral health na sinasabi doon that they recommend a shift from traditional curative approach towards a preventive approach that includes promotion of oral health. Kaya ito po, congratulations po sa GTA, sa ginagawa nito. This is promotion of oral health. Dapat dito tayo ngayon nakafocus. And, nung pandemic, brushing is a must, kahit nakamask. Hanggang ngayon, nakamask pa rin tayo. Most of us, hindi pa rin komportable magtanggal ng mask. Siyempre naman, dapat pa rin po tayo mag-brush. Ayun, in summary, maintaining good oral health positively impacts your general health, well-being, and quality of life. Most oral health conditions are largely preventable and can be treated in their early stages. Oral health can be maintained by being aware of your risk factors and taking action to prevent disease. Major risk factors include an unhealthy diet that is high in sugar, tobacco use, the harmful use of alcohol, and poor oral hygiene. By controlling these factors, you can also help avoid other health conditions such as heart disease, respiratory disease, cancer, and diabetes. So, dentistry is not expensive, neglect is. With that, marami pong salamat and congratulations once again to Grupong Tamang Alaga.
Ayan. Thank you very much, Dr. Thea, for a very comprehensive discussion on oral health. Let me just echo what you said po on oral health being the core of our overall health because it affects our physical and mental well-being. You know, that's why it should not be undervalued or should be given just as much importance because prevention is always better than cure. Ayan. Again, to everyone, if you have questions about Dr. Thea's lecture, please do not hesitate to type them in our Q&A box. Actually, Doc, meron na nga po tayong questions, no? I will start with our first question from an anonymous attendee. Are there gums that stay dark even with daily flossing and general health?
Alam nyo, minsan may mga gums talaga na dark, hindi, medyo parang brownish, may mga ganon. Pagkapanganak na nila, medyo dark na yung gums. Even bata pa sila. Even without, hindi pa sila smoke. Pero ang smoking causes discoloration ng gums. So yon. Yung discoloration, parang stain lang naman yan. Ang mahirap, ang delikado po, or I mean, ang condition na we have to watch out for is yung bleeding ng gums din. Yun. Kasi bleeding ng gums, it means kahit konti, hindi ibig sabihin maraming, parang minsan nga may malalasahan kang konting blood. So, ibig sabihin, there's something wrong. Maaring may gingivitis na.
Okay, got that, Doc. Doc, jump na ako dun sa, since na-mention nyo na rin po yung discoloration. Meron din akong question on discoloration, specifically if you're a coffee drinker or if you like drinking colored drinks. Is it a myth or a fact that if you drink coffee or colored drinks, nagsistain yung teeth nyo?
Yes, yes. Ang malakas mag-stain, yung tea, especially green tea, mataas siya mag-stain, and yung mga red wine. Coffee rin. Kasi iba yung color ng coffee. So nagka-sustain siya. Ngayon, ang aking tip. After drinking coffee or tea or any colored drink water para ma-wash out yung yung color na hindi siya mag-stain sa teeth. And also nga pala, after drinking coffee or any beverage na yung colored except for water, kailangan mo, wag muna kayo mag-brush agad. You have to wait for a while, like mga 20 minutes to 30. Kasi acidic yung environment. Kailangan muna niya ma-neutralize. Kasi pag nag-brush ka agad, medyo mahina yung surface, yung nangipin, yung enamel. Mahina siya. Para siyang ma-abrade pag ganon, pag yung acidic pa yung environment. So, give it some time na to neutralize. Or inom ng water or mag-gargle before mag-brush para lang ma-neutralize yung acidity inside in the oral cavity.
Ayan, noted, Doc, para sa ating mga coffee drinkers. No? Marami palang steps to keep our teeth clean and white. Our next question, Doc, po is, would it be advisable to have all the wisdom teeth removed even if they are not entirely impacted and not yet fully erupted? Will it affect the rest of the teeth's alignment, and how long does it usually take to recover?
First, pag yung impact, kanina yung question is not fully erupted. Not fully erupted, pero not impacted. Kung hindi pa siya fully erupted, maybe because it's impacted. Pwede rin eh. Maybe because it's impacted. Pag hindi siya fully erupted, pero nandun na siya, tapos yun pala impact, hindi lang siya maka-erupt, it's because it's impacted. Kailangan talagang patanggal kasi it will affect the other teeth, especially the one next to it. Pwedeng magkaroon ng food entrapment in between the area, in between the teeth. So, it would lead to tooth decay and hindi mapapansin yun kasi nga nakatago siya. It will later on, lalaki siya and baka yun nga, mamagarin. Tapos yung iba, pag hindi pa fully erupted, merong gums covering it na underneath the gums natatrap yung food. Nagkakaroon ng inflammation rin ng gums. Ako, I have had that before na hindi siya fully erupted pero parang impacted na siya, may gums pa doon. Namaga because of the dirt, the debris na napupunta sa ilalim. Nagkaroon ng infection. Even until sa throat, pwedeng magkaroon ng sore throat because of that infection. So, mas maganda alisin yon yung mga. Pero kung impacted sa loob, syempre, kasi pag impacted sa loob, pwede siyang mag-form ng cystic lesions doon. Kaya, inaalis. Pero meron namang cases na hindi. Hindi naman lahat.
Okay po. Pero Doc, so if hindi siya natanggal, it will affect the teeth's alignment. Parang ganun po.
Pwede rin. Kasi while it's erupting, it's pushing the other teeth.
Okay. So, ayun po. Next question natin, Doc. Is mouthwash advisable to use every day?
Yan, mouthwash. Di ba kanina nabanggit ko na no more rinsing. No more rinsing, enough na yung after brushing, nandun yung toothpaste sa ngipin natin, kahit no more rinsing na. Yung mouthwash naman kasi, may mga mouthwash, they are claiming na it parang pinapabagal nila yung formation ng plaque or ng deposits, calcular deposits or plaque nga sa ngipin. They're claiming that. Pero sa totoo lang, wala namang siya talagang masyadong maraming benefits. Yung regular mouthwash pero may antiseptic wash kasi iba naman yun. Iba naman yung antiseptic wash. Yung mga mouthwash, kung ayaw niyong gumastos, okay na kahit hindi mag-mouthwash. Though, masarap lang kasi yung feeling ng nag-mouthwash, di ba? Masarap lang. Parang feeling fresh yung breath. Pero in terms of it benefits the teeth, not really.
Noted, Doc. Doc, paano po ang ating oral antiseptic? Ano po ang advisable gamitin every day?
Yung mga oral antiseptics, hindi yan palagi ginagamit. Like yung mga may chlorhexidine, hexetidine, yung mga ganun, hindi yun palaging ginagamit. May hangganan siya. Like for yung mga chlorhexidine, hanggang 2 weeks lang. Kasi it's the oral antiseptics, they also stain the teeth. Yun.
So Doc, ang oral antiseptic, ginagamit lang po dapat siya kapag...
may mga indications kung kailan siya pwedeng gamitin. Halimbawa, merong yung periodontal disease or merong ginagamit siya iba pag may sore throat, pag may ulceration sa mouth.
Okay.
Para to prevent lang yung bacteria lang.
Okay. Sakto, Doc. Kasi meron tayong right medhexetidine. So, ganun pala yun, no? Pag may mga ulceration, periodontal disease, and sore throat, dapat yung gamitin. Okay. Noted po tayo doon, Doc. Next question. Doc, what's your take on whitening strips?
Ang whitening strips, sa akin, sa opinion ko, hindi siya masyadong effective. You won't see yung result niya. Parang wala lang. Baka, kasi iba yung professional whitening. Iba yon kasi yung content, yung ingredient niya, mas mataas. And bakit professional whitening siya? Kasi dahil mataas yung, medyo toxic nga yung ingredient niya na pag halimbawa, yung main ingredient niya, pag nalagay halimbawa sa bandang gum area, pwede siyang masunog or magkasingaw. Kaya very careful kahit kami pag nag-a-apply nun. So yung mga whitening strips, siguro pag nagkaroon ka ng after ng professional teeth whitening mo, you can use it as maintenance na lang. Yon. Pero kung you are expecting na pumuti yung teeth mo, hindi masyado.
Noted po, Doc. Our next question, taking vitamin C will help ba para sa healthy gums? Syempre, dapat right. Ang comment ng ating Sir Arnold yan.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Next question po, what's the best toothpaste for teeth whitening?
Teeth whitening toothpaste? Hindi ako masyadong familiar sa teeth whitening toothpaste. Meron mga maintenance na after you have your teeth whitened professionally, may binibigay yung dentist na toothpaste. Iba-ibang brands yun eh. Hindi siya available sa market. Yung iba. Yung teeth whitening, meron, siguro may konti yung iba, it prevents staining ng ngipin. At saka, yung mga ibang toothpaste, totoo yun ha, kasi na-experience, nagtatry ako ng maraming toothpaste. May mga toothpaste na nag-prevent ng, yung formation ng plaque. Hindi mabilis. I mean, parang pinapabagal niya yung formation ng plaque. May mga ganong klaseng toothpaste. Tatanungin nyo na lang syempre yung dentist nyo tungkol doon.
Okay, sige po, Doc. Related po pala to that, Doc, kailangan po ba chlorhexidine yung toothpaste? Kasi di ba po parang gold standard daw yung chlorhexidine for anti-plaque. Kailangan daw po ba may chlorhexidine yung toothpaste para makatulong siya with that anti-plaque efficacy?
Merong toothpaste na may chlorhexidine. Alam ko yun nilab yun. Kaya
Labkin, yes po,
oo,
Doc.
oo, oo. Natutuwa ako dun sa toothpaste na yun. Finally, kayo lang yung meron nun eh. Finally,
Yes, Doc.
finally meron toothpaste na may chlorhexidine. Okay siya pag lang may gum disease.
Opo.
Maganda siya. And ito yung yung pag gumamit ka ng antiseptic mouthwash na chlorhexidine, dapat ang toothpaste mo ay SLS free kasi naghihinder siya ng efficacy nung chlorhexidine.
Okay, got that, Doc. Okay, on ano naman po, our next question, is it true that it's better to use electric toothbrush or no difference naman versus using the regular one?
No difference. No difference naman.
Okay.
Parehas lang sila. According to studies yan parehas lang sila.
Next question, Doc. What causes halitosis?
Maraming cause yan. Maraming causes yan. Merong true halitosis kasi meron yung dahil because of the meron acidic, pag acidic tayo, yung may hyperacidity, yun nagko-cause ng halitosis rin. Pero yung mga bad breath na because may gum disease, yan ang number one gum disease or yung may tooth decay, nagko-cause rin ng bad breath yan. Pero syempre yung mga kinakain natin, yun din naman. Mga kinakain natin na siguro like coffee, may yung mga spices, it causes bad breath din.
Ito, Doc. I'm sure a lot of people have the same question in their minds right now, no? Doc, how did you achieve the pearly white teeth that you have right now?
Hi, pearly white teeth ba? Pearly white teeth. Yung aking teeth, wala yan. Wala, hindi ako nag teeth whitening niyan. Wala lang. Siguro nagtutoothbrush lang ako palagi twice a day for 2 minutes.
Okay. Alam na natin, guys.
At
Sabot,
to add lang pala, nakalimutan kong i-mention kanina, wala siya dun sa 7 steps. Yun kasi yung gold standard lang yung 7 steps na yun. Pero we also have to use dental floss. Alam nyo, kami mga dentista, nililinisan namin yung ngipin. Ako, naglilinis ako ng ngipin ng mga tao. Pero kahit na maliliit yung instruments namin, maliliit yung mga brushes ko, I need to floss lang kasi hindi talaga nakukuha yung mga in-between the teeth. Hindi nakukuha ng brushing. Kahit maliit pa yan or instruments or toothpick, kailangan mong gumamit ng floss. At least once a day.
Okay.
Para hindi magka-bad breath din. Kasi syempre, pag may food debris doon, di natanggal, magkaka-bad breath ka.
Okay, noted on that po, Doc. Next, is there a difference among flavored toothpaste? Should patients switch from one flavored toothpaste from another after using a particular variant for a long time?
Wala, hindi naman. It won't affect naman. Depends on the person kung ano yung mas comfortable siyang gamitin.
Okay. Got that, Doc. Doc, how about braces? I guess yung question po natin dito, what are your recommendations on braces po, Doc?
Yung orthodontic treatment, it depends on every case kasi. So, yung treatment niya, depende sa assessment ng case.
Okay, got that, Doc.
Siyempre, mas bata, mas okay.
Is there a best or most recommended type of toothbrush to use?
Toothbrush, wag yung matigas. Kasi yung matigas, yung hard bristles, isang myth yun they say na mas nakakalinis ng ngipin pag matigas yung toothpaste. Hindi, toothbrush. Mas nakaka-abrade siya ng ngipin. So use a moderate or yung mga kahit soft to moderate na bristles.
Okay, that's interesting, Doc. Napapaisip na rin po tuloy lahat ng ating participants ngayon kung ano po yung mga ginagamit natin araw-araw. Hi, Doctora. Can you please expound on veneers?
In addition to the toothbrush pala you have to change your toothbrush pag worn out na siya. Pag makikita mo nakabuka na siya, usually that's parang every 3 months, 2 to 3 months. And also change your toothbrush pag halimbawa nagkasakit ka, dahil nagbabrush ka during may sakit ka, iibahin mo, pag galing mo, iba na yung brush mo, toothbrush, magpalit ka ng toothbrush.
Okay po.
So yung yung kaninang yung question on veneers.
Yes.
Veneers, hindi lahat ng tao kailangan ng veneers. Yung iba sabi, syempre cosmetic, aesthetic yon, pero hindi lahat kailangan nun. Naging parang fad kasi siya. In fact, kasi veneer, hindi siya conservative na treatment. In fact, aggressive siya. Why? Kasi magbabawas ka rin ng ngipin eh. So, ipag-isipan mo kasi irreversible na yun. Once na binawasan ng ngipin, di mababalik yun. So, kailangan pag-isipan maigi. Yung nag-promote dati na dentist, na siya yung father of modern cosmetic dentistry. Siya yung unang naglabas ng veneers. Pero hindi na, mas ang pinopromote na niya ngayon is more of conservative treatment.
Interesting, Doc. Doc, for our last 3 questions po, is it hygienic to wear braces for 7 years?
Hygienic, kung maganda yung oral hygiene, yun. Kasi depende kasi sa sa treatment, baka kailangan nakasuot pa rin siya, baka may hinihintay. Kasi ganun minsan may kailangan hintayin ng ngipin. Halimbawa, bata, tapos may hinihintay ng ngipin. So, kaya siya matagal. Pero mas maganda kung mas ma-treat agad. I mean, matapos ma-complete yung case, siguro mga 2 to 3 years, tapos na, or 2 years, tapos na siya. Mas maganda yon. Kasi it won't affect the teeth and the structure supporting the teeth. Kasi pag matagal, tapos wala naman, kasi minsan matagal, tapos hindi naman pala nakikita ng dentist, yun ang hindi hygienic. Kailangan nakikita pa rin ng dentist para ma-check siya.
Okay. That's
at nag-treat. At ongoing yung treatment.
Always important pa rin po talaga to visit the dentist regularly po, no, Doc? Next question. Any oral products that you can recommend for diabetic patients?
Ay, mahirap yata Hindi, pag diabetic kasi, prone sila sa gingivitis, periodontal disease. Yan yung mga diabetic. So, kailangan lang nila ng regular cleaning. Kasi alam mo yung mga diabetic, di ba, prone sila sa periodontal disease. Mas mabilis, ibig sabihin, umuuga yung ngipin nila. Naapektuhan yung gums nila. Tsaka yung bone supporting the teeth. Mas mabilis umuga. Kaya, yung pag-uga ng ngipin na yon, lalo pang naa-aggravate pag madaming dumi. Mas mabilis palalo. Mas nabibilisan. Napapabilis, I mean, yung pagsira ay pag-loosen ng teeth. Pag hindi malinis. Yun. Kaya kailangan magpalinis palagi. Yung depends on kung kinakailangan naman ng like yung oral antiseptic, kung kinakailangan, syempre pe-prescribe naman yun. Pero hindi palagi.
Okay. And Doc, for our final question from Dr. Eka, what can you say about oil pulling with VCO, especially for treating singaw?
VCO?
Yes po, Doc.
Hindi ako masyadong familiar dyan alam ko yung VCO, virgin coconut oil, no? Maraming yung health benefits. Pero I haven't tried it with singaw. I haven't tried it yet. Hindi ko pa alam rin yung study. Hindi ko pa na-check yung studies on that. Pero I know that it has lots of benefits. Kasi I for one, nagtitake rin ako ng VCO noon.
Okay, so ayan, thank you very much, Doc, for answering all our questions. This ends our Q&A session. Again, thank you so much, Dr. Thea, for actively participating in our Q&A. And before we go, let us hear some parting words from Dr. Nancy. Doc Nancy?
Yes, good morning sa grupong Tamang Alaga. Wow, wala akong masabi, no? Talagang despite all yung aming hassle, so in preparation for this webinar, while listening dun sa lecture ni Dr. Thea, and most especially listening to the Q&A, it's all worth the pagod, di ba, Lovelyn? So I would like to say thank you, Dr. Thea, China, and of course, yung ating kasama dito sa webinar na to, yung mga taga-GTA, yung ibang enablers group na under Attorney Joey. So this is indeed a very good start for the year, no, na it was very interactive. Pero Dr. Thea, marami pa tayong pag-uusapan kasi while listening to you and listening to the Q&A, meron pa kasi tayong ibang mga projects in Unilab, no? Like with External Affairs on yung 3SK. It's a school-based project of the External Affairs na paano natin sila matutulungan kasi sinabi mo kailangan at least twice a year pumunta sa dentista para ma-maintain ang good oral health. Pero alam naman natin, di ba, hindi talaga kaya ng ating mas nakakaraming bata na magpunta sa dentista to keep their oral health na hanggang sa pagtanda nila. Siguro napapansin nyo, no, especially if you go to the communities, bilangin nyo ilan dyan ang kompleto ang ngipin. Mas madami kayong makikita yung mga hindi kompleto ang ngipin. So I think sa GTA, hindi lang tayo ang concern natin, hindi lang yung mga produkto natin. Siyempre, that's our main role, di ba? To promote our products para magamit ng mga tao. Pero beyond that, no, kailangan maisip din natin na paano ba makakatulong itong mga produkto natin. Kaya China, yung mga taga-Right Med on oral health, no, yung mga produkto nyo, baka kailangan magsimula na rin tayo, no, na to go out of our way to help our communities, no, para yung pinaglalaban din ni Dr. Thea at ng grupo nila, no, makatulong din tayo. So again, maraming salamat, Dr. Thea. I hope this will not be the last, no. We can have future projects together with Right Med at kung yung iba nating kasama sa grupong Tamang Alaga. So China, please allow me to announce, no, for next month we will have another exciting webinar. Ang title nga na nilagay ng GTA Medical doon ay Love Your Liver. So please invite your families, your friends, and even your customers, no? Kung makaka-attend sila dun sa ating regular webinar, please block off your last Friday of the month, no, until November. Sa December kasi yung tradition natin na meet the experts, no, for our last webinar for the year. So again, maraming salamat in behalf of the doctors from the GTA, si Dr. Jing, Dr. Eka, si Dr. Sa, si Dr. Mia, and of course, Loveline, maraming salamat. Alam ko, busy ka. And of course, the CITP. Maraming salamat at mag-ingat po kayo palagi at huwag niyong kakalimutan yung mga tinuro sa atin ni Dr. Thea. So, goodbye everyone. Have a great weekend. God bless us all.
Once again, thank you, Dr. Nancy, and thank you, of course, to Dr. Thea. That was another enriching learning session for all of us. We would like to thank everyone for taking time and attending our first medical webinar this 2023. On behalf of Sir Joey, the GTA Academy, and Unilab Corporate IT, we wish you a nice day. See you on our next sessions and happy weekend. Thank you again, everyone.